had the World Championship under control. The 2020 a second plaque next to that one that we can see here on screen. Of course, last year, Quartararo clinched the World Championship after a crash. Bagnaia, it's that kind of scenario that he needs to really happen if he's to take the title here today.
You can almost cut the atmosphere with a knife. You can feel the tension building. That is what it's all about, that beautiful Tower of Champions. That is the biggest prize in motorcycle racing. Flanked next to it, of course, is the race-winning trophy up for grabs here in Valencia. As always, when we're racing in Spain, there's a lot of French fans who've come over the border pledging their allegiance to the man who is still world champion in Moto Gp. It is a big ask. It is a mountain to climb for Fabio Quartararo and for Yamaha. And what's going through the mind of this man? He'd have had the pep talks, the pre-race talks with 9 times world champion Valentino Rossi. History beckons, of course, for Rossi this afternoon. Pecco Bagnaia would be the first VR46 Academy rider to win in the Premier class. This was what the Academy was set up for back in 2013, to develop, unearth, nurture young Italian talent to compete and fight on the biggest stage of all in motorcycle racing. And all that time, all that investment, both financial and from a human point of view, from this man could pay big dividends here today as a VR46 Academy rider stands on the brink of history. And it would be fitting, wouldn't it, for Bagnaia to do it right here in the Grand Prix here 1 year ago. That's still looking in fine fettle. Grazie Vale, will it be Grazie Pecco at the end of this 20 Valencia Grand Prix? Or will it be congratulations, Pecco, more to the point?
Of course, when he Grand Prix, Pecco Bagnaia, the Grand Prix where we bid farewell to Valentino Rossi from Moto Gp last year. He was wearing one of Valentino Rossi's championship-winning helmets, wasn't he? The J Spettacolo helmet. Will Pecco Bagnaia have his own champion's helmet ready to unveil in around an hour and a half from now? Pecco Bagnaia then strides to his factory Ducati, the GP22, which has already secured the Constructors' Championship this season. It's already helped the Ducati Lenovo team win the Teams' Championship, but this is the big prize they want. They want the Riders' Championship, and their 15-year wait to come to an end. If anyone's going to end it, it is going to be this man. Pecco Bagnaia heads round to the grid. Will he be returning to his Ducati box in an hour and a half as world champion?
They've done the hard work, they've laid the foundations. It's now time to get the job done, the job complete, as Pecco Bagnaia braced himself for what, without any question, is the biggest Grand Prix of his life. The Pecco Bagnaia fan club are out in force. They made the journey from Italy. His parents are here, of course, his girlfriend and his sister who've been by his side throughout this 2022 campaign. They'll be nervous, won't they, down in that pit garage. His younger brother Filippo Bagnaia also here, as we saw Valentino Rossi's made the special journey to see if Pecco Bagnaia can be Italy's first world champion in the Premier class since he did so back in 2009.
So the riders head round to the grid, and as they leave pit lane, we get the initial tyre news right on cue. These are the tyre options, asymmetric tyres across all 3 compounds, both front and rear, given the unique nature of this circuit. It is an anti-clockwise circuit. 9 left corners, 5 to the right, and this is what the riders have gone for. We expected the vast majority on the grid to go for the harder front tyre and the medium rear option, and that vast majority have done. Only 3 riders have deviated. All 3 of them are on Hondas. The one that hasn't, surprisingly for some, perhaps, is Marc Marquez, who did go for the softer rear tyre, and to good effect too in Australia. But it's the other Honda riders, Paul Espargaro, Taka Nakagami and Alex Marquez have all gone to the grid on the softer rear tyre. Everybody else on the grid has the hard front and medium rear.
Fabio Quartararo then comes to the head of the second row of the grid. He wants to win every race he's ever started in his career. Well, this is a race this afternoon in Valencia which he simply has to win. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be explosive off the line here. The first 3 3 or 4 laps, as Fabio Quartararo has to get himself to the front of this Grand Prix very early on, are going to be electric, aren't they? Jorge Martin with nothing to lose. He's desperate to win for the first time in 2022. Marc Marquez wants to end Honda's barren run and bring an end to a dreadful season for the Japanese superpower. He goes from that second place, of course, and Jack Miller, is there a fairy tale farewell for him in the factory Ducati team? Of course, Ducati won't care one jot if any of their other 7 riders on Desmond Sadici's take the win here today, because if they do so, well, then it means Pecco Bagnaia is the world champion.
Yeah, there are 24 riders starting this Grand Prix of Valencia, and Ducati will be quite happy for 23 of them to win this Grand Prix. Anyone but Fabio, essentially, because if Fabio Quartararo does not win this Grand Prix, then Pecco Bagnaia doesn't even need to finish this race. I'm sure he will be keen to. He'll be wanting to win this World Championship in the best manner possible, although he did sound a cautious note yesterday after qualifying. He did seem to suggest that he will just do enough today. Just keep an eye on where Fabio Quartararo is in the Grand Prix and make sure that he's safely through these first couple of laps, establishes his position in the Grand Prix, and then make sure that he gets that Ducati to the checkered flag in one piece with 2 points minimum.
It's a busy, packed grid, as you'd expect for the title decider. This man has been in this position before. He knows exactly what Quartararo and Bagnaia are going through, doesn't he, right now? Marc Marquez was world champion, crowned here at the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia back in 2013 and 2017. 4 times since we came to this great circuit, for the first time in 1999, as the Premier Class title previously been won right here. Who will ever forget those emotional scenes when a Repsol Honda rider, Nicky Hayden, prevailed in 2006. We just mentioned Marquez, the champion 13 and 17, and Enzo, of course, he took the championship right here in Valencia in 2015. That is what it's all about. That beautiful, that gorgeous Champions Tower, whose name will be added to that illustrious list. Will Fabio Quartararo sit aside his own name from 2021, or will this man Pecco Bagnaia take the spoils in just over an hour's time? You know there's going to be nerves, there's going to be butterflies in the stomach of everybody connected to the Ducati team. We'll just come down to you very, very shortly, so we're just going to run through the starting grid here. Davide Tardozzi is waiting for us, but we'll just run through the grid.
It's Martin, Marquez and Miller on the front row of the grid. Quartararo needs to attack for 4th with Alex Rins and Maverick Vinales alongside him. Brad Binder has world championship leader Pecco Bagnaia alongside him on row 3, with John Zarco completing that row. Aleix Espargaro, who's looking to secure 3rd in the World Championship, he's 10th ahead of Luca Marini and Joan Mir. And Enea Bastianini, the only rider, along with Jack Miller, who could stop Aleix Espargaro taking 3rd. He has to come through from 13th. Miguel Oliveira and Alex Marquez completing row 5. Franco Morbidelli, Cal Crutchlow and Marco Bezzecchi, who crashed twice in free practice 3 yesterday, they start on row 6. Just behind them we see Fabio Di Gianantonio, Remy Gardner set for his last race for now at least in Moto Gp, and Paul Espargaro in 21st, his last race of course for Repsol Honda, and Raul Fernandez, Darren Binder and Taka Nakagami complete your grid. Straight down then to the grid. Let's hear from Davide Tardozzi with Simon.
Yes, Davide, huge day for you and Ducati. I would guess that it's one of your biggest days ever as team manager. Ducati and you have done everything, put everything in place. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it is. It is a big day, not only for me, for Ducati, all Ducati and Pecco. So we'll see what's gonna be. We have a big advantage, but in racing everything can happen. So we are focused to do our best, and Pecco too. So we'll see what it will be at 3 o'clock.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Simon, thanks to Davide Tardozzi. You can almost hear the tension, can't you, in his voice. There's some motorsport superstars and legends down on that Valencia grid right now. Great to see them joining us for this season finale. Formula One superstar Fernando Alonso, of course, who's fresh out of racing in Mexico just last weekend, and 15 times Grand Prix world champion Giacomo Agostini. Great to see him looking fresh as a daisy. He's 80 years old now, isn't he? Is the Italian. Is he going to see Pecco Bagnaia become just Italy's 7th rider to win in the Premier Class? It's absolutely heaving, isn't it? Down on this grid. There's Lynn Jarvis there. That's a warm embrace between Lynn Jarvis and Valentino Rossi. When Rossi joined Yamaha in 2004, that was a factory on its knees. They were getting humbled by Honda in particular. what a journey they had, didn't they? He turned that factory around, and that's the reason why, even to this present day, Yamaha are still in positions to fight for world championships. It can all be traced back to Rossi's arrival in 2004, coinciding with the brilliance of the race boss Masao Furuzawa back in the day, but can, in the present, Fabio Quartararo hold on to his award? Well, that's a great sight there. We can see her to President Hervé Foncharal and Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta. And there is the President of Valencia receiving the Best Grand Prix of 2021 award. A richly deserved. Great show they always put on here, don't they? This is the 25th Grand Prix we've had at this Ricardo Circuit in Valencia today. We've heard the thoughts in pre-race of Ducati. How are the nerves down at Yamaha? Well, let's go and hear the thoughts of Lynn Jarvis with Simon on the grid.
Yeah, it's exactly what I want to know. Lynn, how are the nerves at Yamaha? What do you think's going to happen?
Honestly, I think we are probably the most relaxed in a way, because there's only one mission, there's only one goal, and it's in the hands of Fabio, and you know, he's feeling good on the bike, and the position on the start line is not bad. So let's see what happens, and we have nothing to lose, only one potential to gain. But you know, he has to win, and the other man has to have difficulties, and that's, I would say, statistically very, very difficult. But in motorsports, anything can happen.
Brilliant. Thank you, Lynn. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Lynn Jarvis. That's been the motto. That's been the theme, hasn't it? Fabio Quartararo, since he jumped on that flight from Kuala Lumpur, he knew what the maths were. Anything other than a win is not good enough. So much to gain, though, isn't there, for Yamaha? Pekka Bagnaia could pull off the greatest comeback in Grand Prix history. 91 points he was behind Quartararo after that German Grand Prix, but it would be a shocking capitulation. Was it one of the biggest collapses in not just motorcycle racing, but in sporting history, where Pekka Bagnaia not to capture an elusive Moto Gp title here today for the factory Ducati team.
Calm on the grid for Aleix Spargaro, of course, for much of this season hoped he would also be coming here to Valencia, still with a chance of winning the World Championship. He starts from 10th on the grid. His target today is to ensure that he finishes ahead of Enea Bastianini, and of course scores enough points to ensure that Jack Miller can't muscle in on the battle for third in the World Championship. Three riders still in with a chance of ensuring that they join Fabio Quartararo and Pecco Bagnaia at the FIM MotoGP Awards later on tonight. Will it be Espargaro? Will it be Bastianini? Or will it be this man, Jack Miller, who is out there simply to go for victory? Thank you, Thriller and Villa Me Viva. It's been a fantastic journey together, and saying thank you, Thriller, will never be enough. We wish you all the best for the future. We saw a lovely picture in the Ducati Lenovo team pit box earlier on this morning with a number of his pit crew and key personnel wearing special Australian moustaches to salute Jack Miller in his last race for Ducati.
Well, he's an undisputed legend, isn't he, in this part of the world and in this paddock. Let's hear the pre-race thoughts of the man in charge of Pecco Bagnaia, the one and only Valentino Rossi, with Simon.
Yes, Valentino, big day today. Your team has been really performing well, both riders, Bez and Luca, but also the day for Pecco. Please, can we have your thoughts?
Yes, like you said, it's an important day, and we try to make a good final race with Luca and with Marco. Our team this year worked very well. We were very competitive. They are able to make some good races, so we are happy. And also, it's an important day for Pecco. Is the last race for the last battle. I think that Pecco this morning find some good solution, and it was fast, so I hope that he can be competitive and he can make a solid race.
You've been in this position quite a few times, you know, being on the grid, last race, you've won World Championships. What's it like? What do you think the dangers are? How do you think he should handle it?
Pecco is in a very good position because he have a lot of advantage. But you know, when you decide on the last race, everything can happen. So you need just to stay concentrate and give the maximum and try to ride well.
Valentino, thank you for your time.
Prego. Ciao. Ciao ragazzi.
Great to hear from the 9 times world champion. As we said, it's potentially landmark and milestone day for Ducati and for Pecco Bagnaia, but we remind you, a great day in prospect for the VR46 Academy as they stand on the brink of historic first victory for them and their talent. Frankie Morbidelli, of course, was the first VR46 Academy world champion in Moto 2 back in 2017. We're going to be getting the Valencia and Spanish national anthems coming up very, very shortly. An emotional day, though, today for the factory Suzuki team. It's the last dance for Team Suzuki X-Star. Alex Rins 5th, Joan Mir 12th. Let's get some pre-race thoughts from their boss, Livio Supo.
Livio, yeah, a bit of an emotional day, as Matt was saying, but more so if there can be some blue on the podium. And when I was looking at basically race runs yesterday, Alex looked incredible. Do you think it's possible?
I think so, and also John, after some changes this morning in the warm-up, he felt much better. So, of course, the starting position for John is a little bit more difficult, but, you know, they should have an extra motivation. It's the last race for Suzuki. It would be a dream to finish on the podium, and I can't wait to see the race.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, there'll be emotional scenes when they're in the factory Suzuki garage. Can you believe it? They're withdrawing from this great championship just 2 years after, right here in Valencia, Joan Mir was crowned world champion in 2020.
Luca Marini walks off the grid. He starts from 11th. Of course, we've already heard from his team owner and his half-brother, Valentino Rossi, who'll be keeping a close eye on his team's prospects, as well, of course, as Pecco Bagnaia chases the World Championship. Marini starts from 11th on the grid. Marco Bezzecchi, after a crash-ridden Saturday, starts back in 18th position on the grid. Marini, though, fastest on Friday morning. First on Friday afternoon, should I say, and quick in free practice 4, so keep an eye out for him coming through from 11th on the grid. As Fabio Quartararo waves to the crowd, that's the breakdown. Those are the numbers, the raw numbers of 2022. In terms of wins, podiums and poles, it's been advantage Pecco in 2022, but the 5 non-scores from the number 63 have kept Fabio Quartararo in the hunt. Fabio needs a 6th of them today if he's to wrestle the crown away from Pecco Bagnaia.
There's no question who's the more calm and relaxed of our title contenders. Fabio Quartararo looking very chilled out as he comes back to the grid from Monster Energy Yamaha garage. Pecco Bagnaia trying to keep his mouth lubricated, wasn't he? You can see that he already got a dry mouth as the tension fills the 25-year-old Italian. Are the French fans going to be celebrating? Are the Yamaha fans celebrating? This final fight in the blue corner, it's reigning champ Fabio Quartararo. In the red corner, it's Ducati star Pecco Bagnaia. Very, very shortly we'll be hearing the national anthem of Spain and the Valencian anthem as well. Myself and Lewis will take a short pause and then we'll be back to continue our build-up of this title decider. The 19th time a Premier Class World Championship has been decided in the final Grand Prix, and that's what it's all about. It's Quartararo versus Bagnaia. He's just trying to keep himself in the zone, keep himself focused. This is what it's all been about for all those years, setting himself up for this very moment. Match point number 1 wasn't converted in Sepang 2 weeks ago. Can he get the job done here today? The red Ducati army are out in force as we pause for the pre-race ceremony.